So, as if we cannot begin 2023 off in a better way, we have two brand new 2023 January horror movies. One of them was the movie M3gan, which you already heard. It's already got a sequel coming because it's got like a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, the opening week it was out, I did go see it. It's just been a while until I could film the review. And then the other one we got, Sick, which is also a critically acclaimed horror movie. But critically acclaimed doesn't mean I'll love it. Did I love it? I will tell you in this video, but before I do, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, comment down below. What is your opinions on both of these movies? Is it a great start to the year, or are you a bit underwhelmed by these two movies? And with that said, let's start talking about M3gan firstly. So, M3gan's about this young girl, and after her parents died in a tragic car accident, her aunt must take care of her, but not knowing how to do so, she decides to give her a prototype doll, lifelike AI doll named M3gan, to help her, but things start going terribly bad when the doll starts to become into kind of like a human conscience stuff. And my expectations for it when I first saw the trailer were like, this is gonna be stupid slasher movie. I'm not very excited to see that. But when it came out, it had like a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I was like, wow, it's got emotions? I'm very excited to see this. So going into this, I was very optimistic. And if you follow my second channel, More ZMC, there's a shout out, then you would have known that I wasn't that big of a fan of the movie. I think it was an alright movie. Just for what I was expecting, it's really just not a movie that I absolutely loved. Starting with the positives here, the cast is just amazing. Everybody in this movie does a really great job in there. They all have emotions. They all feel like they wanted to be here, which is something that you don't often get with a January horror movie. And that is really good. That's a really big positive, because if you feel like you want to be here, that's a big step up. There are some creepy scenes. M3gan is a bit of a creepy doll. She's got some pretty unique things going on in the movie, and I think that's pretty cool. There's especially some scenes where I was like, holy crap, that's weird. And for the most part, I did have fun with this movie. It was just me and my brother who went, and there was like 2 other families in the movie theater. Everyone in the theater was going nuts. This is a movie that will get audience reactions out of it, like, oh, that's creepy, oh, that's cool, because it's got a nice combination of creepiness and funniness inside the movie as well. There's a couple scenes that people didn't laugh that I found hilarious, a couple scenes that I didn't find funny that people laughed. It's definitely a people-pleaser movie to where our crowd was going absolutely wild while watching this one. I mean, M3gan, just a movie about a creepy doll this wild, definitely would not expect to say that the audience are going to love this one, and that's a big positive here. The movie is also quite funny. We cannot forget of the comedy. Just the wackiness of M3gan crawling on all fours or doing a dance while murdering somebody. It's just fun. And there's a thing. This movie decides to be fun. It tries to be fun, but the way I was expecting this one to be is a fun slasher movie with lots of kills. It was fun in a completely different sort of sense. This isn't fun as in a way that I will watch it over and over and over again because I had a blast with it. I did not. In fact, I didn't even love the movie. I rarely liked it because it's just kind of dull. So it's a kind of a slow burn like you'll expect. The doll starts to do some creepy stuff. The creepy stuff really works out in that aspect. And then all of a sudden, the doll just quits doing creepy stuff, and it's just like a little bit of hints here and there. And then when we get to the end, you go so long without seeing creepy stuff that you just kind of get bored, and you're like, okay, I'm ready for this to end. And that's exactly how I felt. I was ready for this to end, and I didn't feel no payoff from the end because it was just it just had a way of becoming so dull at times. I just felt myself fairly bored at times because it focuses more on the emotions, which isn't a bad sign, but the emotions aren't relatable to me. So I'm just sitting there like, okay, that's nice, that's all right. And so, because the emotions are relatable to some people doesn't mean they're relatable to me. And I came in here to see kills, and there's like 3 kills in the entire movie. It just takes way too long to get to them. And like I said, when we get to the ending, the payoff isn't even that good. It's just like, okay, I knew what was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen from the moment we were introduced to this one certain character. I knew how it would play in. And it was just like, okay, this is a mediocre January horror movie. It's exactly what you expect from a January horror movie. Kind of. It's not as bad, but it was more mediocre than anything in the movie. Another problem here is it feels like the writers didn't care to me. They focus more on the things they shouldn't. And there's like a scene where Megan starts dancing in the hallway. It's a dancing hallway scene where she kills a guy. And all of a sudden, she runs up against a printer. You know what's on that printer for no reason in the middle of a toy manufacturing company is a machete. Where did Megan get the machete? Why does Megan have the machete? I don't know. It makes no sense. It feels like at times they just don't care. They're like, oh, the audiences won't notice. And like I said, it's a thing that the audiences love this movie. That's a great thing. Just for a critic like me, I notice that stuff. And I'm like, it doesn't feel like they care. Because it did not feel like they cared in that aspect. And so Megan definitely has a bunch of problems. It's not a great movie. It's definitely got its flaws here and there. It's fun in a way, but it shouldn't have been that long, and it should have had way more kills. And do I know how they're going to do a sequel? No. I'm not anticipating the sequel. I no idea what the premise is going to be, but if it becomes like a unique premise, I think they could pull it off. But anyways, Megan was a little bit of a disappointment. Should have ended sooner. Shouldn't have been that long. Shouldn't have lost my interest. And so Megan is getting a C+. And now we move on to the second movie of our double feature. And I did not watch these anywhere close. I watched Sick like 2 weeks later. I've seen Megan for at least 3 weeks now. It's been sitting in my head for that long. But we're talking about Sick now, and Sick is a movie that two friends go to quarantine in their own beach house. But stuff goes wrong, and it's a home invasion as people start trying to kill them. It's from the writer of Scream, and I did not know that when I first heard about this movie. I was like, oh, a slasher movie? It's probably going to be like, what's that, They, Them, or whatever, or They Slash Them, that I didn't watch. It's probably just going to be a bad movie. And then I read Kevin Williamson, and if you don't know who that is, he was the writer of Scream, my favorite horror movie of all time. Well, it's up there with Halloween. I think they'd be tied, but one of my favorite horror movies of all time. He's the writer of it. And so this shot up from being middle of my list to being freaking number one. This was number one on my most anticipated list of the month because of that. I learned it was from Kevin Williamson, and Kevin Williamson is an awesome writer. He made some of the best movies, and what I got from it is another mediocre slasher movie, just like Megan. This movie, I would say, is better than Megan, though. It's not as boring as I thought Megan to be. Starting with the positives, cast, obviously, pretty good here. Everyone has a nice batch of chemistry. They never seem to falter for me. I thought everyone did pretty good in the movie. The kills were really cool. There's a lot of suspense here. And the way I started saying it was mediocre, that's not saying much, because there is a lot of positives here. The cast, like I said, pretty good, but there is quite a bit of positives here. The kills are one of them. There are some crazy kills. There's a cold open here, like every other movie. You wouldn't expect there to be as much kills as there is, but there is. It's a very entertaining movie. This is just like exactly the opposite of Megan, where Megan got a little overdrawn out. This movie is just 100% entertainment, slashing, kills, very fun, and I had a blast watching it that way. And it's a Kevin Williamson movie, and as you know, Kevin Williamson makes the best twists as we don't know who the killers are, and when we find out who the killers are, it's a very, very nice reveal. And the twist here really works. Always you gotta compare this to his other movie, Scream, where you sit back and you're like, yeah, Scream is an absolute masterpiece because of the twist and the way it works and the way it combines everything. And here, it finds a way to combine the coronavirus, which this is a movie during the quarantine. This is a movie about the coronavirus, and we're all sitting here and we're like, wow, okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. This reminds people that my dad would watch this movie and be like, this is stupid because people are stupid. And it really works in that way. Kevin Williamson writes an awesome twist that really works out, and I really thought it was fun in that aspect. Then we go to the negatives. And the big negative here is that it runs way too long. right as we get past the twists keep going and going and going. They talk about the same thing, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, you can get on to that. And then once they escape, they get to the house, they're about to escape, and then it keeps going, and I lost my interest real quick. Maybe it was a subject that I was watching it in where I woke up at 8 in the morning to do a double feature of John Wick 3 and Sick, and I got really tired. Or maybe it was the fact that it just runs on for way, way too long. But for the most part, this is a very fun slasher movie. I had fun with it. There's kills, there's gore. It's basically just another slasher movie. It's better than M3gan. It's not the greatest slasher of all time. It is pretty fun, though, and that is why Sick will be getting a B- from me. And so that's my review for these two movies, M3gan and Sick, two Blumhouse movies, kicking off the year with Blumhouse, and neither of them were great. But that was just my thoughts on each of these movies to begin off the year 2023. Stay tuned, I got a Jordan Peele ranking coming. I am not finishing Andor. You will find out in one of these videos why not. It'll be kind of like a review / a rant on why I did not like the show at all. And then also, I do have a big video coming up. Last year, we got a bunch of animated movies, and I didn't rank any of the franchise. I didn't rank the Despicable Me franchise. I didn't rank the Hotel Transylvania franchise. I didn't rank the Shrek franchise. I did rank the Toy Story franchise, but I'm going to combine all 4 of those franchises I just mentioned into one video and rank them all hugely. But please take a moment to subscribe, like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what is your thoughts on either of these movies. And with that said, subscribe to join the Nerd Army. Peace out.